A recent video circulating online shows Nigerians running on the Niger highway when a group of armed bandits showed up, and that was right before the kidnapping of 200 students. These things happening on a continuous basis has led to Nigeria being labeled the third most terrorized nation in the world. It wasn't too long ago that such a thing would have been considered impossible. Before Buhari's administration, this would not have been possible. But what do you expect when power is given to someone who shows special favoritism and obvious behind the scenes support for a terrorist group within the nation? It is clear that Buhari, due to the fact that he's Fulani, has shown so much leniency and support for Boko Haram, who are also Fulani primarily, and that has led to a great shift in power. Nobody talks about the fact that ever since Buhari got into government, everybody that he elected, everybody that fills a high level position is now Muslim or Fulani. It is always Alhaji this or somebody whose name is Muhammad. When you look at all the leaders in all across the board, the places where there are a few exceptions are certain seats within the south that naturally it is those that belong to those tribes there that will be favored in those high positions. And that is very limited, because the reality of the matter is, when you look at the Nigerian political landscape of power, ever since Buhari got into power, over 90% of the people in political offices are all Muslim or Fulani. Are we surprised that they favor Boko Haram? Keep in mind that Boko Haram represents something that the Quran talks about, which is the holy war. They are pushing for it, just like Osama bin Laden pushed for it. So when you have a book like the Quran, which tells people that there has to be a holy war, and tells people that one way to ensure you get to heaven is to kill Christians or Jews or persecute infidels and all of that, when that is the case, what do you expect when people who subscribe to that belief system see people doing what their belief system tells them to do? They will support it. It's just like a real Christian is not going to see somebody performing miracles in the name of Jesus and condemn them. Those who go against healing ministers and those who insult preachers who pray for the sick and they get healed, and the people who are doing the insulting call themselves Christians, those are not Christians because they don't believe the Bible. You're saying those people are saying, in fact, that the Bible is a lie. They are saying that Jesus is a liar, because Jesus said, "This sign shall follow them that believe." If anything, a Christian will be asking, why am I not doing the miracles also? Why am I not performing miracles also? What am I missing? And why is this not spread abroad? They would not be on the wave of, why are these people performing miracles? It's wrong. It is not possible. Are those Christians now atheists? That is the kind of thing that an atheist should think. But interestingly, the number one critics of healing ministers in Christianity are people who call themselves Christians, and are people who often have their own churches or ministries. So the same way true Christian is not going to criticize healing ministers, because the Bible is clearly in support of it. If you believe the Bible, you have to believe that yes, people can pray and receive divine healing. And the same way, if you believe the Quran, you also have to believe in the holy war. You see, you also have to believe in jihad. I know there are Muslims who call themselves, passive Muslims, or Muslims that don't do violence and all of that. That it's clear they have never done anything linked to terrorism themselves directly. However, we must not ignore the fact that when they see people who are fulfilling jihad, which the Quran talks about, they keep quiet. Are they now going to change the Quran? That is the thing. And that creates a situation where when you put a lot of people in political positions of power who all have this view that there has to be a jihad, understand that Islam spread by force and by politics. Christianity spread thanks to missionaries. And of course, the reality of the matter is that Christianity's major spread was because of politics. It was because of the Catholic Church. Because understand what the Catholic Church is. The Catholic Church was the religious arm of the Roman Empire. And it is the last remaining relic and creation of the Roman Empire. And by that, I'm talking about Julius Caesar's Roman Empire. Of course, after him, during Constantine's time, when Constantine was emperor of Rome and had all these colonies, he made Christianity the singular belief system, or actually called it religion, of the world. And anywhere that he had conquered, Christianity went forth. So we cannot ignore that. And that is the power of politics. And why clearly Christians cannot ignore politics. When you mix that power of politics with a religion or a belief system, it's very powerful. That is how the major spread started. And of course, it was amplified, or it continued and, spread to us today, thanks to when the Catholic Church and the British monarchy, was working in tandem. Now things have gone away from that, but back then, thanks to King James and who translated the Bible and pushed for the King James version of the Bible, and thanks to the monarchs of Great Britain, every place that they conquered and anywhere that the British went, they went with that. Christianity was the official religion or the official belief system of all of Britain. It was the guiding set of principles of the civilized world when it comes to that British, that era of civilization and etiquette. Those two things were mixed. Keep in mind that this is not true Christianity as Jesus expressed it, but an altercation of it, because that is what the Catholic Church gave the world. The Catholic Church gave the world an edited version of Christianity, which, misses the point, but at least they kept the text of the Bible original. So you can easily find the truth when you throw away doctrine, when you throw away catechism, when you throw away traditions of men and look at the Bible itself. And by the time you have a relationship with the Holy Spirit and the Holy Spirit guides you into all truths, then you arrive and you'll be moving in the real truth of what Christianity is. Buhari is the primary force of terrorism in Nigeria. You have to understand that as bad as things may seem, this can easily be rectified with people who are serious about getting rid of terrorism, which means getting rid of a possibility of jihad being in power. If Obasanjo, with all his complaints, was in power, this would have never reached this level. Boko Haram would have never reached this level. Even under Goodluck Jonathan, in spite of all the actions that were taken against him and how he was quite frankly not strong enough to sit in that position, because a lot of people ignore the fact that politics has its own mafia type world. when someone is a politician in a country like Nigeria, he has to worry about setting mafia type culture within his own party and from other parties, and it takes someone who is strong enough to sit in that position. It is not enough for people to say, oh, we want somebody who will represent these people, or oh, these people have never ruled before, we want somebody from here to rule. Is that person strong enough to weather the politics and all the mafia tactics and culture of the politicians and that political class? The person may have good ideas and good plans, and this is something that you need to understand. It is not enough to be super intelligent and to have the best, most intelligent plans. Are you strong enough to sit in that position with all the opposition and with all the different games that will be played against you? Can you get the respect of all the politicians and all the parties and get them to act on your behalf, to fall in line, and let none of them fall out of line and really take what you are trying to do? Of course, because Nigeria is a country where the politicians, like in most other countries, puts their own ambitions before the well-being of the people. They don't mind millions of people dying just so that you will look bad. And then when they get into power themselves, they expect no opposition to come their way and them to save the day. In other words, let us say that the way to save the people is to build let us just say infrastructure A. When a politician gets into power and is trying to build infrastructure A, there are a lot of people who are also politicians who will do everything to destroy the efforts and to make sure that infrastructure A is not built, in spite of the fact that each second that passes where infrastructure A is not built, hundreds or thousands of people within that nation will die. Those politicians don't care. All they want is, let it not be this guy that builds infrastructure A. Let us destroy all his efforts and turn everybody against him. Then when we get into power, we will build infrastructure A. And if it so happens that after their planning and all of that, they get into power and they try to build infrastructure A, there's the question of, are they capable and competent enough to build it? Then there's also the issue of what you sow is what you reap. Other politicians do the same thing to try to destroy all their efforts. And of course, you saw that with America and President Trump. Everything that President Trump did, there was a constant fighting to destroy it, even bringing about trying to create peace between America and North Korea, which Obama was telling Trump that would be his greatest problem. Even that was jeopardized. They did not mind that this guy had nukes. CNN and MSNBC and all of that did everything to undermine and try to make President Trump look soft and weak, which is not the best. It is not wise to do. When you're dealing with somebody like that, when you're negotiating with somebody, like the leader of North Korea, or with any such person who, it's kind of like a threat to the world and has an authoritative mindset, an authoritarian mindset, you have to look as strong as possible. In the art of war, Sun Tzu said, when you are weak, you must make your enemies believe you are strong. There is a power there. It's just like standing up to a bully. The bully may be able to beat you up, but you're making yourself look stronger than you actually are can help to either turn away the bully, make the bully change his mind, or decrease the likelihood of you being a candidate for constant bullying. Because if you stand up to a bully and you are always putting up a fight, even if you are losing every time, the bully will now go to someone else that is an easy target. That is the reality. It doesn't matter. Even if the bully can beat you in a few seconds, if you always put up a fight every single time, the bully will soon get tired. The bully is still not going to like you, or start respecting you, but the bully will have enough respect in the sense of leaving you alone and going to someone else to bully. That is the reality. So you have to understand these different factors. Now things keep getting bad, and it looks like it's a long time off before another election for Nigeria. The Muslims are clearly, they want to take over all of Nigeria by force. The Yorubas, are now saying Yoruba nation. The Igbos were saying Biafra before. Now, a lot of Igbos, especially those who saw or witnessed the first Biafra war, don't want it. A lot of young people today are ignorant. They don't know what war is, and they don't know how bad it is, and they don't know that nobody will benefit. A lot of people are going in a direction where it is going to be disastrous for everybody involved. At this point, Nigeria is at a place where Nigerians need to make up their mind, and people need to sell Nigerians themselves on the right way forward. On is Nigeria going to split into northern Nigeria and southern Nigeria, or is Nigeria going to be one? But understand this: Amos 3:3, can two work together unless they agree? If all of Nigeria cannot agree, then these problems will always exist, and it is best for Nigeria to split. This constant drama is very sad. Recently the Nigerian government made a proposal for actually passed into law, I believe, that any body who pays ransom is going to be put in jail. Now that is a good preventive measure to stop kidnapping, because now there is no incentive for someone to kidnap another person. But you have to understand something. Kidnapping aside, even though kidnapping stops, there is also the bid for the nation. Boko Haram did not start as an organization for kidnapping. And as a matter of fact, some of the people who are doing the kidnapping now are not even necessarily Boko Haram. Keep in mind that Boko Haram is an ideology, and it's about jihad. You see? So, even if you stop kidnapping, these problems will not stop. But at least the kidnapping own has stopped. But the issue is, will the Nigerian government be faithful to it, and will people understand? Because it is easy to, from an intelligent point of view, to say, yes, if you criminalize paying ransom, that means nobody will want to pay ransom. So why will anybody want to kidnap somebody and get ransom? Because they are not going to get the ransom, because who is going to be in that position? And I've explained the problem with that. Some people will be willing to spend their life in jail for their children to be free. Some people will be even willing to die in place of their children. So if you kidnap somebody's child, and ask for ransom, let us say the government says anybody who pays ransom will not just be put in jail but be killed. There are a lot of people who will prefer to be killed than for their child to die. So there is that aspect of it. There is also the aspect of what will the international community look at it when it comes to human rights. Somebody is a victim, their children have been kidnapped, or their relatives have been kidnapped, and then you want to put them in jail for paying ransom. What will the international community say about it, and how fair is that? So when it comes to a military move, I can understand the criminalization of paying ransom. But when the person who is to pay ransom is also the government, that is also a completely different matter. Is the government going to allow that? If this rule is maintained, it seems like it could stop, or at least seriously decrease, kidnapping as a whole. But the problem is the implementation and the consideration and understanding that there are people who is still, if someone is willing to die for their child, then why wouldn't they be willing to spend 10 years in jail, or 8 years, or 15 years in jail for their child after paying ransom. So that means that kidnapping would still continue. So that is one factor that you did not consider. Does a father put himself spending 15 years in jail as something that is not worth the value of his child that he has loved and he has fed for how long? You see, so these are things that you have to understand. And of course, the blame and the anger that these people who are victims will feel is towards the administration. And the more resentment towards an administration, the more the likelihood of coups and assassination attempts. And of course, after coups, it's normally a military government that goes into power. And this is one thing that people don't understand. Emperor Napoleon once said that when a ruler cuts off heads at random, it is his own neck that is at the highest risk. You see, just because you are a leader doesn't mean you can do anything. So when you have built up such resentment towards an administration, you are building up a situation where a coup comes next. It is very easy now for a coup because there are a lot of people who are against the administration. And the reality of the matter is that there is no coup that's in human history that after the coup, somebody came into power that was peaceful. Normally, after a coup, when things are bad, and there's a coup, the person who comes after is actually worse than the first person. The person who comes after is often worse than the person that was there before. So this kinds of situation, and understand that there are now several Nigerians who have lost everything. They have lost their homes, their land, everything. And there's now a push outside of Nigeria. Understand that during the first crisis that Obama and Hillary Clinton created when they killed Gaddafi, it created a leak and a problem in Africa, a migration crisis, where a lot of people, ended up trying to swim and, they got, doing all kinds of things to cross the channel and doing all kinds of things to move from Africa to Europe illegally. And a lot of them on their journey found themselves being put into slavery. Now, understand that this kind of things will create that kind of situation for a lot of Nigerians, where they will start moving illegally into all the different countries around Nigeria. Understand the population of Nigeria is very high. And to those of you in other nations who are in Africa, but ignore this problem within Nigeria, understand that Nigeria is still the heart of Africa. And even if it is taken over by Boko Haram, that just puts a lot of money in the hands of terrorists that are linked to Iran and Iraq, and a lot of different terrorist organizations. Because ISIS is not linked to one of there is actually another terrorist jihadist group that is now operating in northern Nigeria. So the Boko Haram elements and the news around it is attracting such people. It's attracting jihadist terrorists from different places. You see, and the fact that these people can come and also their guns moving in and all of that, you have to know that it is obviously because of these shifts where there are a lot of people in politics who actually believe in jihad. So of course they would favor Boko Haram because Boko Haram are doing something that they want to see happen. They want to see all of Nigeria Islamized. As a matter of fact, they want to see all of Africa Islamized. As a matter of fact, they want to see the whole world Islamized. That is what they want to see. So, for people who are not strangers to the use of force, this is what they want, and this is what they will go for. Now, when it comes to the solutions, there has to be a transition of power. And there has to be an undoing of everything this administration has done. There also has to be a rethinking and a rechange of the CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria. The current leaders and the previous leader are both fools. And that is the best way to put it. You see, they have made a series of idiotic decisions that has led to the constant degrading of the Nigerian currency, and they don't care. They don't care. The reality of the matter is that the naira is based upon the dollar, and the dollar loses value every year. Why would you base your wealth on something that loses value every year? And in addition to that, there are other problems that makes the naira lose money faster. It is like building a house or trying to build a house on quicksand. You cannot even stand on quicksand without sinking. Then you want to build a house on quicksand. How stupid is that? That is what the Nigerian naira is doing. Number one, it should not be based on the dollar. And number two, the factors affecting inflation, primarily this mass borrowing of money and also importation being higher than exports, is crazy. Nigeria can easily turn into China. By that I mean start putting money into building of factories. Stop looking at stupid things like, oh, Dubai has this kind of fanciful thing, let us also have it here. Oh, this nation has a luxury so and so, let us have it here. You see, this madness. And to make matters worse, a lot of the people in government have never built anything. These are people who are not captains of industry, so they don't know how to build a successful anything. None of them know how to build a successful business. They don't even know how to turn a kiosk into a mall. Then how can they be given the reins of the nation for them to turn a nation that is grappling with being a third world country into being a first world country in a competitive world? If you cannot turn a simple kiosk into a mall, why will somebody give you a nation to turn into an advanced nation or a better nation? How much more complex is that? You know, so there has to be an undoing of everything that Buhari has done. The placing of jihadists in different positions of power all around Nigeria needs to stop. The administration needs to get away. The CBN governor and their strategies need to end. There needs to be a move for the building of factories, curbing importation. You know, and it is not enough to say, oh, we are placing embargo on importing this, and you are not creating an alternative for Nigerians to build it. You are just making things difficult for Nigerians. You cannot say, oh, we are going to put this tariff and this tariff and this tariff on importing this good and this good and this good, but nobody is making it in Nigeria. People are still going to need it in Nigeria, and all you have done is increase the price and have made Nigerians poorer, and has actually made the naira drop more. These are common sense things. Then this madness of constantly borrowing money. Buhari has gone again to borrow money. Money you borrow is not free. You know, money you borrow is not free. Money you borrow is actually a pit, because now you have to pay back the money plus interest. You know, and you know, all this money that is being borrowed is a strain on the naira. You cannot spend more than you make and expect your finances to be okay. Nigeria is a nation that has been spending more than it makes. It needs to concentrate on making. It needs to concentrate on encouraging entrepreneurship. Then when it comes to churches and crusades, that is big, because understand something. All this chaos started after churches were shut down. There are a lot of foolish people who don't see the link. People are not holding crusades. Understand something about Christianity. Things like Christianity, Buddhism, you know, there are certain kinds of belief systems that pacify people. And, you know, it makes people calm down, and it makes people think of higher things. You know, it makes people, they wouldn't mind suffering. They will choose to do the right thing. when you decrease the influence of Christianity, especially among the youths, why would somebody, a young person who sees no future for himself in Nigeria, why would he choose not to go into kidnapping when his friends are going into kidnapping? It is only because of Christian beliefs. It is only because, oh God, it is wrong. It is like if there's a riot and people are running into a store, people are running into stores and they are taking everything they can. What will stop somebody from doing that? When you know that there are not going to be repercussions. It is only belief systems. When that person is a Christian beliefs, oh, it is wrong, God is watching you, because you know that you are going to get away with it. So now in Nigeria, it looks like the rewards for criminal activity, the rewards for kidnapping, the rewards for banditry is very high compared to the risk. And if someone gets caught, understand that Nigeria is a country where every policeman has taken bribe, or at least it looks that way. So what makes you think that if someone kidnaps somebody and if he pays enough bribe, he won't get away with it? What makes you think so? What makes you think that kidnappers are not paying bribe to police? When the police are so happy, they will allow to be collecting 20 naira, 200 naira, 500 naira bribe. Then is it when somebody has been kidnapped and then let's say he pays 100 million or 1 billion naira? Is it then that the police will say, no, I choose to be honest, let us put the person in prison and then give the owner of the money back his money? No. What makes you think that the police does not take their own course? You see? So these are things that you have to understand. These are things you have to think about. Also, where do these criminals get their guns from? Where are they getting their ammunitions, the bullets from? A lot of times, even when a man called Evans was caught for kidnapping in Lagos, when he was caught, they found out that a policeman, actually a military man, was one of his team. You see, a lot of these people who are actually career kidnappers, they have security, as in the police or the military, as members of their team. There are many bank robbers who have been caught that it was revealed that one of their members was a policeman or a military man that was posted to protect that bank. You see, and that is another thing, because in Nigeria, in addition to the fact that police are not paid enough, military are not paid enough, a taxi driver makes more than a policeman legally. The only way a policeman can make more than a taxi driver is if he collects bribe and extorts people. So when that is done, anytime you see a policeman that has fed, it did not come from his salary. Anytime you see a military man that is well fed, it did not come from his salary, because we know that these people are hardly paid when it comes to the legal payment. So their payment is from other nocturnal and nefarious activities. That is where the money is. It is just like NBA players where their salary is this, but the majority of the money comes from endorsements and other things. Or musicians today where they make music, but since their music is distributed for free, the main money really comes from going on tour or from endorsement or selling merch and other kinds of things. So it is the same way with the police and the military. Their main money is not coming from their salary, it is coming from the other things. So when the salary is that low, which needs to be addressed, that is an important factor. Also, there is also the matter of the young people, which goes back to Christianity. Thanks to the lockdowns, look at the places where all these riots are and all this unrest are. It is places where there is clamped down on Christianity. Like, you can look at the problems in Port Harcourt. Wike is happily saying, oh, people should not gather more than 20 or more than 50 in churches and all of that, and everybody should practice social distancing in churches. But people are allowed to mingle as they want in marketplaces, in malls, in other organizations and businesses, and everywhere else. There have not been any max mandate publicly given about mosques. I don't see anybody saying that not more than 20 people should enter mosques. But you see, they have restricted Christianity in Port Harcourt, and you see the drama there. Look at Imo State, the restricting of how many preachers have been there. You know, all the churches and the preachers, and you know, all of that. Because when you are preaching that kind of message, it pacifies people. It also creates a situation where politics can take advantage of that, politicians can take advantage of that, and the people are suffering in silence. But the thing is that it pacifies people. The people are no longer pacified, and they have been given reason to be angry. So the young people, the future generations, as they see no hope in front of them, and they are told that, in spite of the fact that money can still be made in Nigeria, but you know, in a situation where many people don't believe it's so, and many people believe in force, and many people are going to the direction of crime, it makes things very difficult, and it creates a mass exodus of people from Nigeria. You know, so you have to go through the solutions that I've given: the Buhari administration leaving, the elimination of all the jihadists in government, you know, the appropriate going after of Boko Haram, and you know, all different terrorist jihadist organizations, and calling a spade a spade. You know, there are a lot of people who are in the Muslim world and the Fulani world who want to protect them, and that is what is actually making matters worse. You know, that has to end. You know, there needs to be appropriate going after, and they have to be the persecution, and you know, justice needs to be carried out, not granting them amnesty. You know, so those are just a few things that need to be done to really stop this matter. And of course, I will do all I can to end it. You know, and you know, these things are a result of prayer. When you pray, God speaks. Prayer is not just telling God what you want him to do and then him doing it. Matter of fact, that is not prayer at all. And you miss so much about Christianity when you believe that way and you think that way, that God exists as a tool for you to use to get what you want. And when he doesn't get when you don't get what you want, you blame him, or you say that, oh, it is proof that he doesn't listen, he doesn't care, or he doesn't exist. That is madness on your part. You know, so these suggestions are steps given after prayer. You know, also, when God gives an instruction, it's up to you to obey it. If you do not obey it, the consequences will be the consequences, and you have yourself to blame. You know, that being said, thank you, and God bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you.